Hello and welcome to another episode of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at Dynasty Dad FF. Joined as always by my main man at FF Snoog and at Broc Dynasty. It is Trade Show Tuesday, guys. We're excited. Guys, we have one more trade show after this before the NFL season kicks off. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm seeing trades flying in like crazy in my home leagues. I'm seeing them flying in the Discord, Twitter. DMs are absolutely wild. Snoog, this is a fun time of year. A lot of teams are really trying to tinker their roster to get them over the top. We're here to help you guys break it down to see if you guys need to make these trades or if this is one where you're like, okay, pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, I've been making trades all vacation so far, so I'm super excited for this one because there's a lot of stuff that I've been kind of seeing. A lot of, Ibuka trades, Travion Henderson trades. A lot of the rookies are starting to gain a lot more hype. Some of the guys like Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. So it's really fun to see the market just changing last minute right before. I mean, what are we, like a week and a half away from game one, Eagles-Dallas kickoff. So I'm super excited for this trade show. And it's just time to get going because I'm literally like probably an hour away from making a monster blockbuster trade for Nico Collins. So I'm in the works of getting that done once the show ends.
The other really fun part of this is next week's trade show, Brock, is going to be Smash Accept episode 400.
Wow.
400 episodes. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a nice thing to celebrate. Last week, we didn't spin the wheel. I got so many DMs. People are like, guys, it was Trade Show Tuesday and you didn't spin the wheel. So we're going back to 5 gets you a basic, 10 gets you a VIP, 15 is a VIP, 20 is going to be another VIP. I don't know if we can get too much more in there because we did give away our last draft board there. So maybe we'll give you a high five from Brock. He'll send one your way. But we got a super chat to kick things off before we even started. So why don't we jump right into that?
Yeah, let's do it. Without further ado, appreciate P-Spin 1923 coming on through with this super chat. 3 quarterback league, 2 tight end, and there's tight end premium. So a little wonky settings here. So he'd be giving Penix and London and getting Bowers and Diggs. If I do the trade, his receivers would be Neighbors, Marv, Olave, Rome, and Rashi. Quarterbacks, Burrow, Ward, Flacco, and Dart. So Snoog, I'll throw this one your way. Given the league settings, do you value Penix a little bit more than you should, or you still want to get Bowers, get that tight end and 2 tight end premium? What are you thinking here?
If I see 2 tight end and tight end premium, it's Brock Bowers 10 times out of 10. Like I'd have to be blown away to trade him in this situation. A low end QB2 and a wide receiver 1's not enough to get rid of the best tight end in Dynasty and a first round startup player in this format.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 quarterback thing does bump that side up a little bit. But you have Burrow and Ward, and Flacco will start for your first 5 weeks. And guess what? Jackson Dart's going to be the starter for the Giants in 5 weeks. So, I mean, it's Brock Bowers pretty handedly. I don't fault anybody for wanting the Penix London side, but you're going to see in tonight's show. I mean, I think we have 3 or 4 Brock Bowers trades, and almost every time I'm just going to say hashtag always Brock. Like there's really, I got him in round 2 of my home league the other day. I'm just like, I'm all in. Like Jacoby Myers gets traded from the Raiders, and now we have a spot where last year he had 153 targets. The record's 156 for a tight end. He's going to smash that. And Snoog, I mean, if we see Myers dealt, the only other guy there, I mean, Amari Cooper's in now, Jack Betch, Deontay Thornton. He's going to get wide receiver 1 overall type, like 170 type target. So do not trade Brock Bowers unless you get blown away, like Snoog said.
Absolutely.
All right. Next super chat in coming from Cooper H441. Appreciate it here, Coop. 10-man Superflex PPR, sending a Debo, a late third next year, and Jaleel McLaughlin, getting back Alvin Kamara. He's a contending team. Jaleel doesn't do much here, Dad. So it's looking more like just Debo and a late third for Kamara, contending team. What side we lean?
It's Kamara all day. I do kind of like Debo with the Brian Robinson trade. I think he's going to get a little bit more involved than what he would have before, but at the same token, I mean, Alvin Kamara is the guy that you want to buy. If you want a cheap running back, 9 times out of 10, Snoog and I say, go buy Alvin Kamara. So that's a great value there for him. If you're not even giving up your second, I think you smash that all day long.
Yeah, hopefully Spencer Rattler just checks it down to him. Get him 10 targets a game, and he's going to feast.
Well, the issue
as
that
long as
everybody, it doesn't matter
uh,
who's the quarterback is. Like Alvin Kamara
Yeah.
is going to get open. You're going to throw it there, or you're going to get check downs. I mean, he's literally done it with 12 different quarterbacks over the years. It
and
doesn't
he
matter.
usually is without wide receivers. If Shaheed and Olave stay healthy and can play a full 15 to 17 games, like they're elite speed, like elite deep threats that are going to stretch the field and get open and move the chains. Like they're both good enough where it's like that offense can be capable. I know the QB play is going to stink. They could probably have a lot of 4-and-outs. They're also going to be getting blown out in a lot of leagues, and their division is awful. The defense, there's no good. Falcons have a decent defense. Every other defense in that division is absolutely terrible.
Mhm.
So it's like just a breadwinner in that situation.
All right. Super chat 3 here coming from a Just Incredible 5. Appreciate it here, Justin. Got a late 27 third or Shadur Sanders. Dad, is this something where,
smash that.
QB3 on the depth chart, take Shadur, or are you just taking the late third here?
You got to take Shador here. I mean, I would pay a late 27 second for Shador. I'm not sold. I mean, Flacco's going to start the season, right? But like, Dylan Gabriel or Shador Sanders is going to take over at some point. The Browns are not going to be competitive. You're going to be going into week 6 here. They don't have their rookie running back. They don't have a lot of different options. They're just rolling Flacco out there till the next guy. Dylan Gabriel's fine. Shador, I mean, if you could get it for a pair of thirds, I'd even do it 1/3. That's just if you I mean, I think this is good news that he didn't get cut, that they traded Kenny Pickett. Like the last start he had, or the last was not very pretty, but I think you can get a pair of thirds, and Shador still, to me, is the most talented quarterback in that room that isn't 39 years old. Like Joe Flacco's not the answer.
Yeah, I agree. Sanders for a late third. I do think he gets a chance to start at some point this year. Like I think they're going to be so bad, and like Flacco's going to be like fun, throwing big games, whatever, but they're going to be so bad. They're going to be like, all right, let's see what we have in our rookie QBs. Like, let's see if they're ready. Let's see if they have any sort of upside potential. Dylan Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback. He's absolutely terrible. Like, he's so bad. He has 0 traits that are interesting about, like, he has no arm. He's not, like, he sucks. Yeah. Like, straight up.
It's probably a scenario where you get like 6 games from Flacco, 6 games from Gabriel, and then the final 3 or 4 with Shador.
Yeah, that's what I think.
And at that point, they're like, okay, we got the 101. Let's take Lenore Sellers.
But, yeah. All right. Next super chat coming in from Kyle here. Appreciate it, Kyle. We got a half PPR. Traded away Bill, B-Rob, and a mid-second for DK, Ollie Gordon, and an early third. Feel like we know which way we're leaning here, Dad, but what do we think on this one?
Oh, it's DK all day. I mean, Krosky Merritt is one of the most traded assets. There's been so many different trades. My man Dave Heilman over at Dynasty Trade Calculator put out a thread on it, and I've moved him up to. You got to at least kick the tires in that same tier as Trey Harris, Cam Scatterbo, Jaden Higgins. He's got to be somewhere in that 203, 204 value range. But at the same time, Robinson is now moved to just the probably number 1 handcuff in the game because he goes over to the 49ers mid-second. That stuff doesn't add up because then you got Ollie Gordon over here, who's arguably going to be in that same tier as Brian Robinson when it comes to handcuffs. So, yeah, Snoog, you got to smash DK here, right?
Yep. I love Ollie Gordon. I think he is one of the best handcuffs to own in all of Dynasty right now. And I think turning Krosky into DK is just the right process. Even if Krosky ends up being good or solid or whatever, he's still like a 25-year-old rookie at some point. It's like people are going to be like, all right, he'll probably be a 1-hit wonder, a 2-year wonder, and then just fall off a cliff like every other one has. So.
And I'm not trading him for – a lot of people are saying just trade for any second. I think what people forget is if he blows up,
he's worth a first.
Yeah. And it's a running back with an opportunity, as opposed to sometimes we say like a player just randomly gets an opportunity that we drafted in the 4th round. But like this backfield's wide open. Like Austin Eckler gets injured. There's nothing here. Chris Rodriguez is not someone that's going to sustain fantasy lineup. So if you you could pair JCM or Bill and a second and get a first, I would do that. But just any random second, you might as well hold it, give yourself another opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Next super chat coming in from, Anthony Costello. Appreciate the super chat here, Anthony. A 1 quarterback league. It looks like he's on the clock in his rookie draft. So he has Keon, Maybe some options at 205 are Luther Burden. Maybe Krosky Merritt's there. I'm not really sure who exactly all is there at the board.
If Burden's there at 205, then you just Burden way over Keon Coleman.
Yeah, by a mile.
But if you're trading it straight up for the 205, the 205 in a one quarterback league, you would be, I mean, Burden should be gone by 201, 202 at the absolute latest. So, I mean, I think I might still just re-roll here with that 205, knowing that you're probably going to get Jaden Higgins, Cam Scatterbo, something like that.
Dad, I'm still just like, I'm not feeling Keon Coleman. I like wanted to believe. I saw him running routes, and I'm just like, oh my God, this guy looks like a 6'5", 250-pound tight end trying to run routes out there. Like, it's so bad. I think best case for him, Dad's touchdowns. Like, if he can get to 10 touchdowns or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his scenario for me is I'm using him to tier up. If he gets a 10 touchdown season and it's a freakish kind of thing, we wanted Dalton Kincaid to be the Travis Kelce for Josh Allen. It wasn't it. Now we want him to be, we want Keon Coleman to be something that he's probably not. It's just like the Bills just are like
the Bills suck at everything besides Josh
except
Allen.
Josh Allen. But then they'll also go, win 13, 14 games and be the one seed.
I'm low key on the James Cook train now, though. Just like, I think he's locked up now. He's going to score so many touchdowns in that offense. I don't think he's like the best running back, but I think he's like good enough where he'll be good in that system, in that offense. So I do think he'll be good with Josh Allen there. But yeah, I don't know. Coleman is it.
All right. Jeremiah coming through with this next super chat. Appreciate the super chat here, Jeremiah. What's up, boys? Big money redraft. All right. 11 spot. Format is 2 running back, 2 receiver, 2 flex. Thoughts on a Nico London start, Snoog? Big money redraft. Got a lot of money on the line here. We got to put our money where our mouth is.
Okay, so this is how I break this down. So I literally all weekend, my buddy was up here at the Cape with me. We're running mock drafts like all day long, just running different mock drafts from different spots. We ran like 3 redraft leagues with a bunch of people in the Discord and from Twitter and stuff. I found out that if you don't like leave with 2 running backs in the first 3 to 4 rounds, it is so ugly and hard to make your team look good. Like what I was really loving, and this was the same format, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. So you can start up to 4 wide receivers. I think leaving the first 2 rounds with a wide receiver and running back, especially if I'm the 11 spot, like it should be Nico and Genty, or it should be CMC and Nico, or CMC and Amon-Ra, or Genty and Amon-Ra. I don't like starting with 2 wide receivers, even though it looks really good at first. But then when you're running back 1 and 2 is like Chuba Hubbard and Tony Pollard, you're like, this sucks. Like, this is gross. So because like me and Dad were talking about on the show, like round 5 through 9 is like loaded at wideout. Like you can get like Rome, Emeka, Ridley, Judy, all these guys in like round 6 and 7. It's just super deep, Dad. So you've done so many different mocks and threads on kind of breaking down. You've done power wide receiver, power running back. I feel like a balanced start is just the way to go right now, or 2 RBs if you can get Genty and CMC at that like 11 and 14 or 13 swing. But
I think 100% it depends where you're at. I mean, if you're in that early first, like that 102, 103, 104, give me Bijan, and then I'm trying to go get myself, JT, Bucky, Chase Brown. I'm getting Chase Brown in every second round wherever I can. In this particular scenario, if you're going full PPR, Nico and London are both top 3 options potentially. Either one of those guys could be wide receiver ones. I mean, they're both going to finish in that top 5 to 8 range. I would, if Derrick Henry's there on the board, I would give it a shot. Genty, I'm a little bit more worried than I love him in Dynasty. I think he might have to shake off a little bit of rust in that offensive line in redraft, but I think Snoog's onto something. It's a matter of what happens at that 3-4 range, right? Like that late third. If I do this, I'm double. I'm going to hit up, we're going to go Nico, going to go London. Then I'm taking like James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, 2 of those guys there. So now I have 2 elite wide receivers, which are, guys that you're going to build around. Then you go that way. It kind of makes it so 3-4, you got to pound 2 running backs. You absolutely have to, where if you take a running back and a wide receiver, then you can go Kittle in the 3rd, get yourself a tight end, and then the 4th round is completely up in the air for you. So personally, I I think if it's a league where you're going to get James Cook, Omarion Hampton, Travion Henderson, you think you can get 2 of those. Nico in London is really sexy to start. So, I mean, because Snoog, you always talk about the number of points those guys. I mean, those guys are both putting up 18 to 20 plus. I think Drake London was the wide receiver 2 with Penix, and he was putting up 21. And Nico Collins was on pace at 19.5 last year. Very few running backs are putting up those kind of numbers. If you can get Travion Henderson, Omarion Hampton, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, those guys fall to that 3-4 there. So, I mean, if it's 12 team, that's the way. If it's 14, that's the worst format ever. I just drafted that and I threw up in my mouth.
Yeah.
All right. Next super chat coming in from Doof here. Wouldn't be a trade show without Doof pulling on through. So appreciate it here, Doof. Looking for an answer from all 3 of you, but who are your biggest holds right now?
Ooh.
Holds is an interesting question.
Say all the suspended potential, like Rashee Rice, Jordan Addison, Quinshon Judkins, like those type of guys. You're not going to get anything near what they're worth. So I think you're better off just kind of holding those guys. I think Rashee Rice is going to come out the first couple weeks, be absolutely phenomenal. And then people are just going to be like, I don't care about the suspension. I'll give you 2 first plus. And then he's going to get suspended. And then you're going to have another buy window. And I think there's a chance he doesn't even get a suspension this year. Could get pushed next year. I keep seeing. So those would be my holds, is just guys that are kind of dealing with legal stuff.
Yeah. And on the same token, I mean, for me, it would be guys that are injured right now. I mean, people are trying to sell. Someone in the Discord was like, hey, I got a pair of thirds for Joe Mixon. Why? Just hold him. You know what I mean? Like, I saw someone say, hey, middle second or Brandon Ayuk. Hold Ayuk. You know, Godwin. Late second or Godwin, hold him. You know, like, there is no reason to sell depreciating, asset, not depreciating, but depreciated assets. We talk about we want to buy low and sell high. You're doing it completely backwards if you drafted Brandon Ayuk 2 years ago and now you sell him for a second. Like, that's just not what you're doing, because you know it's going to bounce back. The writing is on the wall there for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you both covered that one. If they're injured, suspended, stuff like that, if you know that you could be getting more for them whenever they're on the field playing football, you know they're talented players, don't just sell them low right now to put someone in your lineup just to make it look good. Just hold the asset you know is going to be better in the next couple weeks. So love those answers there from you guys. And another super chat coming in. So we haven't even hit trade 1 in our show here, Dad.
We're at 9.
About 20 minutes in. So we'll cover this one here from Coop, and then we'll hit a few trades that we had lined up for you guys. So would you trade a 2027 projected late round pick in the 2nd round, Terrence Ferguson and Hunter Henry and Ty Johnson? Oh, these are just either, what do we call those, Dad? For Pickens. He's contending. What do we want?
Yo, turd sandwiches in a second. Snoog, if that was a late 27 first, I might still take Pickens. I mean, this is absolute robbery. Pickens, I put a thing out there today where I was like, wide receivers that I'm coming away with in every single draft, Pickens is one of those guys. And that 6 to 8 range, it's Pickens, it's Rome, it's Ridley. I want all those kind of guys. They're going to eat this year. And George Pickens, honestly, Snoog and I have been telling you guys how parallel the Cowboys are to the 2024 Bengals. He's going to have a monster season. So is Dak Prescott. You got to go get Pickens. And Snoog, a lot of your casual redraft guys are coming back that play Dynasty, you know what I mean? That have a Dynasty team, but they treat it more like redraft. They just show up. You know, they're coming back and they're like, yo, Pickens was bad last year. I don't need him. Let's trade him. You know, like, if you could get him for a pair of seconds, a late first, you go do that now, because you're not going to be able to in a couple of weeks. Actually, maybe in 2 weeks.
He's so good, dude. He's so good. He's in the perfect situation. Bad defense, team that's going to have to throw the ball, 35 to 40 times a game. Dak is a guy that's historically known for stat padding, 4,500 yards passing, ridiculous amount of touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb is going to be the guy that gets 160, 180 targets. George Pickens is going to be like what Jalen Waddle, what Brandon Ayuk was a few years ago. Waddle, his 2nd year in the league. Jameson Williams, like those guys that had like 1,200, 1,300 yards on like 70, 80 catches. That's going to be George Pickens. He's literally going to probably put up like 1,200, 9, 10 touchdowns, 75, 80 receptions, and just be so efficient, scoring big, deep. Like, the focus is on CeeDee Lamb, and you have another wide receiver 1 on the outside. I'm so excited for him, because I think he's going to have that year where everyone's like, damn, he is him.
We almost got to that first trade, but then number 10 is in. Go for it.
Hey, we got to make an exception going back here for Darth Twerk. Appreciate the super chat here, Darth. He got offered a late 27 first for Luther, Bill, and a fourth. Ain't
I'd
no
do
way
it.
I accept that. Snoog would do it. Dad, what do you think?
You take the 27 first.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I would.
I do think Luther Burden pops off. I think we're one DJ Moore injury away from something looking real special. There's a lot of opportunities on this one. If it's a truly late first, I would not do it. I can understand it, but I think Luther Burden has looked good enough that this trade, I mean, JCM, is this your opportunity to add him to Luther Burden where you wouldn't have been able to do this 4 weeks ago? Possibly. The 27-4th is nothing. So I think if you're rebuilding, I want the first, but I think Burden and JCM give you enough high potential that I would probably stick with those guys. I think if you
a lot riskier than just holding a pick that'll accrue value, but
Burden could pop.
Yeah.
I think there's
good things lately.
I think there's a 70-30 chance in a year from now that Luther Burden's worth more than that 27 first. And then you're just giving Bill away. Who knows what Bill could be,
Yeah. All right. Trade one here.
Woo!
Coming from HTX.
Hey,
here from Twitter.
Cowbell just for HTX. If he was watching this, it saw he was number one on the docket, and he's like, dude, this is going to be great. He's like, I could just go to bed. It's been a long day. No, hell no. We're going 21 minutes in, 1,100 people watching, and 10 super chats. And the 11th just came in, but I'm going to let you finish the question.
Yeah, let's hit this one up. We got one side with Achan, other side Caleb Johnson, Mountain Guy. I don't even know if he made the roster. Well, maybe you guys have some info there. And a 26 first random. Dad, what do we think?
Devon Achan. I'm not. I understand. If I'm playing redraft, I'm a little bit worried. You got the calf injury. If I'm playing Dynasty, he talent-wise is a top 5 running back in this league, fantasy-wise. He puts up crazy points in this offense. And I'm not – if this is a random to mid-27 first, okay, now we're talking. A random to mid-26 first, I'm not sold on Caleb Johnson enough to make this move.
I was going to say, if you want me to kind of think about how I would do this trade, what the scenario would have to look like, Ollie Gordon instead of Monangai, a 27 first, and Caleb Johnson would have to be a CMC Derrick Henry, maybe a Kamara type of player instead. So I'm getting that RB1 production back, but I'm getting that insulation with the first, and then a high-end handcuff that's actually valuable in Ollie Gordon.
Everyone keeps trying to hype up Kyle Monangai, but I mean, Roshan Johnson's a better prospect in my opinion. The path to relevance for him is very
Swift is just so much better than both.
Oh, Swift is the guy.
So it's just to me, it's
because you and I have talked about it. We're going with Loveland is the Laporta, right? And you're like, who's going to be the Amon-Ra? But now everybody's feels like there has to be a David Montgomery.
Yeah. It's Roshan.
Have to be. Roshan Johnson's a better player in my opinion.
The big dog grinder. If you want the
it's
Montgomery, that's who it
DJ Moore's going to be the Montgomery, guys. Come on.
It's all that.
He's like Ben Johnson's Debo Samuel.
All right. Next super chat coming in from Ty K. Appreciate it here, Ty. Gents, Snoog took your advice yesterday and offered Achan for Jacobs in a 27 first, but he said no. So would you trade Achan for Kamara and Pacheco? I feel like I know the answer. No go on that one.
Not even close. I would need Pacheco to be a first. We were just talking about that. Kamara in a first, sure. Kamara and Pacheco, no way. I think you're selling extremely low. So
I like the Jacobs in the first though.
Yeah. Well,
I already told him to do that.
Would you do Kamara in a 27?
Yes.
Would you do Kamara at 27 in a second? Maybe I could probably get.
I don't even think you need I don't think you're going to get the second, but I mean that 27 class is so vaulted when you throw them in the trade, it negates the other guy's value. It adds so much more onto it. Where that's why I'm buying 26s right now because it's a cyclical event. Every single person is going to want a 26 first next year. Everyone's talking about the 27 first right now. I was talking to a guy the other day. He said the 102 in 2026, he values the same as a random to late 27 first. And I'm like, it's not that much of a difference. The dudes at the top of 2027 are going to be filthy, but so is my man Sean from Twitter. Let's go.
All right. Next one coming in from Sean, submitted on Twitter. We got one side with Bill, a 26 first and 26 fourth. Other side's got Chuba, a 26 second, and Oronde Gadsden. Dad, what do we think on this
Oh, I
one?
like that Oronde. You're like getting a little
Oronde.
spicy here. I'm looking at this as like, if I'm contending, I do want Chuba. I do like Chuba a lot. However, this trade for me is it's the Jackery Krosky merit side because I prefer him over the random second, and I'll take that 26 first. And Snoog and I do this all the time is I'm going to take that 26 first. I'm going to go buy Derrick Henry. I got a better running back, and now I got another prospect on hand, or I'm going to use that first to go buy, Mike Evans. I'm going to go buy that first to get Christian McCaffrey, something in that range. I'm not. Chuba's just a means and ends to a means for me. Like, I think you're on borrowed time with him, but he's a really solid running back. At the 26 first, I think you can buy a lot different.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 26 first is the bread and butter there. I'm taking Bill over the 26 second Gadsden. That first, I can get Josh Jacobs. I can get CMC. I can get a player like that who I think is a true league winner. I just don't think Chuba's quite talented enough to be that guy that could be like a 300 fantasy point scorer unless he gets like 300 carries.
And Snoog, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, the entire community was down on Chuba because of Jonathan Brooks, right? Jonathan Brooks goes down. There's nothing in town. So Chuba dominated. He played really well. Rico Dowdle is played really well down the stretch. Next year, under contract, they're going to have Rico. Brooks will be back, and it's Chuba. It's like Chuba Hubbard is not the talent level where you're like, he's going to dominate touches if there's other capable backs. He's a very good running back, but a lot of people have really hyped him up to a point where every time I post something on Twitter of my top 12 running backs, people are like, where's Chuba? He's not there. He's not there in talent. He's not there in situation. So, I mean, it's his backfield. I love him in redraft, dynasty. I'm not big on Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah. All right, trade 3 here coming from AO Jr. Submitted on Discord. We got one side with Drake London, other side Meka Egbuka, 26 late first and second. Snoog, let's throw this one your way. Egbuka's your boy. You taking him a first and a second, or you holding London?
I'd love it a lot more if it was a 27. I think if there's a chance it could be like mid to late, I'd probably do it. I just like the insulation. And I think like Egbuka is going to go out there and put up 1,000 yards as a rookie and gain a shit ton of value right away. I like London a lot as a player. Like, he's a player I root for a lot. I liked him a lot as a prospect. I just don't think he's as good as everyone thinks he is. Like, I think people are trying to think he's like a Neighbors, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb type of player, and he's just not. Like, he's just not there. I don't even think he's a Nico Collins, Amon-Ra St. Brown type of player. I think he's more like he's a Garrett Wilson. He's a Marvin Harrison Jr. He's those type of guys. It's a wide receiver 1. He's good. He's great. Doesn't have an elite QB. Doesn't have a ton of elite talents. He's not a guy that's the best athlete on the field. He's not also the best route runner on the field. So it's like, I have to feel like his ceiling's like a great year would be like 1,200 to 1,300, 1,400 yards maybe. But I don't know. I really think Baker Mayfield and Meka Egbuka are going to put up the craziest stats together long term. And like that pair, like I'm taking Baker over Michael Penix, and it's not close, like 10 times out of 10. So yeah, I'm taking Meka Egbuka here.
See, I'm taking London pretty clearly on this one. I like Egbuka, I really do. I think he's going to put up, pretty solid stats that rookie season. But Drake London's going to be a top 5 wide receiver this year. Like, and the age, I mean, I think he's 20? Is he 24? The only I know we were saying we have him in the same tier there as like Garrett Wilson. Talent wise, I think Garrett Wilson's actually better. But I think
100%.
But I think. If you say him, you say Marv, you say Garrett. Only difference is London's actually performed.
I think Marv's better than London too, talent wise. I'd say.
I'm not sold on Marv right now, but I hope he does. But I mean, for this particular trade, give me London. I think you get the clear cut win there. Rebuilding, I'm with Snoog. Is like, give me Egbuka a late 26 first and a late 27 first, and I'll give you London in a second or even a pair of seconds, but I want to try to get a little bit more on this one.
All right, trade 4 here coming from Drunken Fufio, submitted in Discord. We got one side with Justin Jefferson, other side, the rookie 104, and again, Drake London, Dad. What do we think on this?
I've come full circle on this one. I think we had something like this last week. Snoog, the 104 now that TreVeyon Henderson has been so good. Now that Tedroy McMillan, Travis Hunter have looked so good at camp, the 104 is now an incredibly sexy pick. I am taking Drake London in the 104 here. I told him to ask for a second yet, but I would do this. He said he's running back needy. He said he's going to be Hampton or Henderson there at 4. I would even at 4, if it's going to be Hampton and Henderson are both still there, I would trade back from 4 to 5 and try to upgrade yourself somewhere else or I've seen a lot of people trade one spot. They'd give up a Calvin Ridley, a Stephon Diggs, something like that. So I think there's a lot of potential here. I want London in the 104, and I can't believe I'm saying it because I think Jefferson is a phenomenal talent, but I think London's really going to ascend himself into that top 8 dynasty wide receivers, and I think that 104 is really going to move up.
Yeah, I like the London insulation here too. That 104 is just such a good pick, such a good player. You're going to get there. Foundational running back, or it's also a foundational wide receiver in Tet or Travis Hunter. So I love it. I think you get 2 foundational assets. Yeah, you lose Jefferson, but London, you know what he is already. He's already a hit. He's already a great player. And then you're going to get a player that I'm confident is going to hit as well.
For sure. So we did hit 10 super chats. We're up to a free basic, a free VIP month. We'll make sure we do that. Once we hit 15, we'll do another VIP. 20. I'm starting to brew something up in my head here. So if we get there, we'll go ahead and kick it over. So let's get it going. Robsy from the Discord.
All right. You took the words out of my mouth. We got one side with Chase Brown and a 26 first. Chase Brown or AJ Brown? Do you remember, Dad?
It is Chase Brown.
Okay. Chase Brown and a 26 first. Other side is McCarthy, Tesla, and a 26 third. Snoog. What do you think?
Feels like a free 26 first to me, Dad.
I wouldn't
put Chase Brown over JJ McCarthy, so that's a win.
I'm not going to put Chase Brown over McCarthy at Superflex, but Chase Brown, his value has gone up. I remember we did this show 2 months ago, and I got offered Chase Brown and a 4th for Judkins in a second, and we were like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, now it's like the gap is huge. I think Chase Brown, you got to buy him everywhere you can.
All right. Trade 6 here from a Chandler Best submitted on Twitter. We got one side with Nico Collins. It's like the ultimate insulation down a few tiers here, but picking up 2 firsts along with Luther Burden. Projected mid, Snoog. So a mid next year, a mid 27, Luther Burden to move off Nico. What do you think?
So he sent it to me, just so you know. Hold on. This guy's an all-in contender. Nico's his starting wide receiver 2. But there's a ton of insulation here. They both do look mid. I looked at the rosters. So, I mean, Snoog, if you're an all-in contender, and this is more of the question of this, you're an all-in contender and you have a Nico Collins, do you entertain this type of offer? The value is Burden, not even close, like in my opinion. But is this something you entertain if you're all in? And when I say all in, it's not Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, all in, like he's the clear-cut favorite. Like his roster looks sick.
Yeah, I'd pay that for Nico. I also think if I'm rebuilding, vice versa, I'm perfectly fine trading Nico for that.
He has Nico.
He has Nico and is contending.
And he's contending.
Oh, keep him then. Why would you sell a player that's a big reason why you're a top contender for random mid picks and Luther Burden? I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
It's one of these classic trades where if he wins the league, Nico helps him get there. It's awesome. If he doesn't win the league, we're sitting a year from now and he's like, shit, I could have had 2 firsts and Luther. It's why we play this game. You got to make bets. You got to take risks. But if you're looking at Nico in your lineup for this year, if you're contending team, you want Nico other than Burden. Could Burden get hurt, or could you trade the picks to get a contending, like you said, like a Mike Evans plus a second or something? Maybe, but I don't know. I think that's out sneak you.
I'm personally taking the picks. Like there's so much value in there where you start to talk to the guy. We just did another trade where we were talking about.
You'd be trying to move the picks.
I'm moving the 26 first and I'm keeping the 27 first. And 2 years from now, that 27 early to mid first is going to be worth more than Nico Collins because Nico is going to be 28, turning 29 years old. And Burden's going to ascend at that point. I think this is just a trade where 2 years down the road, it's not even close. If you can get a Devontae Adams, a Mike Evans, a stopgap in there to kind of get that going. I'm trying to pull up the rest of the roster.
Yeah, realistically, if you look at it like that, Mike Evans for this year, probably puts up like what, 70-80% of Nico, and then Burden maybe for next year if DJ Moore gets moved. And then the next year you get that 27 third. So it's like 3 years of you kind of gaining a new asset. So from that perspective, I do like that side. All right, trade 7 coming from a Go Blue here on the Discord. We got one side with Caleb Johnson, a 27 first and third. Other side is Olave, RJ Harvey, and again, Gadsden here. Snoog, what do we think?
Cowbell for Caleb Johnson's side all day long for me.
Because Caleb and Harvey are the same tier. But if I can get a 27 first for Chris Olave, I'm doing it all day long. All day long. Justin Incredibles, he sent in a super chat already, but he has a string of questions here. These are all going to kind of be a tier of very similar type questions. He's going to kick us off.
All right. So the first one's going to be Bowers or Laporta and a late 26 and 27 first and a 0.75. You're getting 2 first, Snoog, on top of your boy Porta Potty. What do you think?
I think I'm low-key going to take Laporta on this. Like 2 first on top of him. I don't know. That feels like such a big pull for Bowers. If I know that, like, this is where context is so important. If I know the team, like if it's one of my teams that I consider late, I would do it for Bowers. But like late to just incredible. Like I don't know what his version of late is for 26 and 27. All I know is that 27 class is going to be like ridiculously deep. Like there's going to be the 110, 111, 112 are going to be studs. Like 2021 when you were getting Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, all these guys at the back end of the first, like that's what this class is going to be like. So I really treat any 27 first like gold right now, even if it's late.
See, this is very similar to the one we just talked about. Like we were doing Burden and 2 mids, moving up to. I'm taking Bowers again. This one here though is like the difference between trading for Brock Bowers and trading for Nico Collins, in my opinion, is Brock Bowers is your tight end 1 for the next decade. Period. You know, like, and a lot of people get such a stupid take lock where you're like, well, Laporta was the tight end 1 for a while. You're right, he was, but at no point did he have the talent level, the draft capital, or anything like that of what Brock Bowers is. So Brock Bowers, absolute stud. I'm not trading him for anything, especially in a 0.75 tight end premium. Like this is the right value, but I'm not doing it.
What were the other string of questions with the just incredible one?
Hold on. This next one goes into it.
Oh, okay. So this one coming from Slim Shady over on the Discord. I see. We got McBride or Kittle in a late 26 and 27 first. So similar here, Snoog. Instead of Bowers and Laporta, we got McBride and Kittle. No tight end premium here. What do we think?
Yeah, I'm taking Kittle by a mile with 2 firsts attached over McBride. Bowers over McBride by a good amount for me. And honestly, give me Kittle over Laporta.
Well, I think the no tight end premium definitely matters. Like if this was 0.75, exactly. I might lean McBride just because of the longevity, but I'm with Snoog here. And that's the difference. You got to look at the context of the league. You got to look at the settings. You got to look at where you're at. And I think if these are both late, I mean, I think you definitely go Kittle in and try to add into it. We got a 12th super chat here. Let's go.
The way I like to do it, and I've had a lot of my success with in Dynasty, is like when you're replenishing or replacing production and getting similar production and added firsts on top, I think that's the best way to go about it. So that's why I always favor, like when I'm getting a stud and picks for another stud, if I like that stud enough and I'm confident in him, I'm always favoring that side because I know like what that pick can get me and what I can do with that pick to get another stud. And then I do it again and again and again. And then you end up with a full lineup with 5 guys on your bench that are all worth a first. And it's just like that process of building and building and building rather than when people are trying to constantly overpay. Like I see people throwing around, like someone today traded like Tyreek Hill and 2 firsts for Drake London. I'm like, all right, you just burned 3 starters for 1. You lost 2 firsts. There's a good chance one of those firsts ends up being a Drake London caliber player. You trade a wide receiver 1 in Tyreek Hill, and then you trade another first. So I think like you really got to be confident that your team's that good and you can afford to make those type of moves. And I'm usually the one that never makes them unless my team's absolutely loaded. So that's kind of my process.
All right. This next super chat's coming in from Jonas Funkhauser. We got Dynasty rookie draft question here. I'm on the clock at 110, and he's debating between Loveland, Golden, and Judkins. So there's no tight end premium. What do you guys think, Dad? I'll kick this one your way.
Loveland and Golden. I'm not touching Judkins right now. This is bad news. And I know Snoog's not going to agree with me on this, but this is getting really ugly. Like, the season's about to start and we have no contract. Sounds like his agent is trying to hold out as if nothing happened, and it sounds like you're not getting the money you were going to get. That's what I've moved him down considerably, but at the 110, if this is super flex, I mean, I would rather have Loveland and Jackson Dart. I mean, I would rather have Jackson Dart over Judkins. I would rather have Golden just because he's going to have the opportunity. I think that's probably, if Caleb Johnson's here, I'd rather have Caleb Johnson or RJ Harvey. He's got to be at that 112, 201 range.
Quinshon Judkins is getting signed tomorrow to the Browns. 100%.
Speaking into existence.
I'm speaking into existence right now. Kevin Stefanski went out and said today there will be more than 2 running backs on this roster after they cut Pierre Strong. They're going to sign him. Things are getting worked out. But
their depth chart did only have Ford and Sampson today.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You don't take a player 34th overall, go sign Isaiah Bond, who literally did worse, and not sign your running back. It's literally probably because they're trying to lowball him, and he's like, I'm not getting lowballed. You're paying me what I'm worth and what I deserve for where you took me, and that's how it's working. In this case, though, I'd probably still lean Loveland, but I'm not taking Matthew Golden over Quinshon Judkins. There's no way in hell. Even if he ends up working out, I just think the process is with Quinshon Judkins and the skill set and the prospect that he was, personally. But there's risk, and make that pick knowing that there is risk. But I don't think that the risk is going to last much longer, because once he gets that news and it's like, oh, Quinshon Judkins signed his contract with the Browns, everyone's going to want him again. Yeah. So it's just the game right now. Market's definitely on Golden and Loveland, but I stick strong and true to the process until I'm wrong. Once I'm wrong, I'll adjust.
Yeah. So maybe if it's a slow draft and unlimited clock, wait until he signs tomorrow. Like Snoog says, wait until he signs tomorrow, then take Judkins. But all right, trade 10 here coming from Pila Poyle, submitted in Discord. We got one side with Puka Nakua or Emeka Egbuka. Those are 2 great names, Puka Egbuka and a 26 first. He's getting a rebuilding team's first, so we'll call it early to mid, Dad.
It's his.
Oh, okay.
It's his. I mean, those are the kind of trades where on paper you say random first and you're like, okay, Puka. But you say 101 and that's what you're trying to do, then you control that yourself. So if you're making that trade, you got to take it.
Yeah. All right. Here's classic. We've had one of these before. My cock's big over on Discord submitting this trade question. We got one side with Lamar, Charbonnet, and Hawkinson. Other side, Caleb, Bowers, and Bajul Tootin Snoog. What do we think on this one?
I think I saw this in the Discord. I want Caleb and Bowers here, Dad. I think I like taking the risk that Caleb turns into a superstar and just getting Bowers too. Like, I'm not a big Hawkinson guy. I think Sharbs is good. I think he's better than Tootin, but I think they're pretty similar, like kind of high-end value handcuff players that could be really good if they're starters. But like, I'm looking at this trade really just like the idea of getting 2 foundational assets, and Brock Bowers is just such a big upgrade over Hawkinson. And I think if Caleb balls out this year, he's going to be valued as a top 5 to 6 dynasty QB, and then it's going to kind of get back on track to being where he was supposed to be. So
this is like a weird trade where I'm like,
it is.
I don't want it. Just overall. Like, I want Lamar everywhere. If I can tier up from Caleb to Lamar, I'm going to cut out any of the risk and I'm going to do it. But if that means I'm giving up Brock Bowers, that's hard. Like, this is, the 102 in your startup and a 7th rounder versus the 108 and a 2nd rounder. So, I mean, Snoog's right. The value does slightly lean on that Caleb side. I just don't love it. I just feel like
Tootin needs to be a little better, I think.
Yeah, the 2 or take Charbonnet out, but I'm just passing on this one. Like, give me
just stay with what you got.
Let's stick with what you got, and let's try to do another different trade. Go, instead of trying to go all the way up to Lamar, go to Jalen Hurts and get something better. Or, instead of tearing down to I can't do it.
All right.
I mean, how many trades have we had? And I haven't had one where I'm like, nope.
I just don't like trading Lamar. That always sucks. But like, You got to make that's like one of those things that where it's like you make that trade knowing that like there's a good chance you get absolutely smoked, but there's
if
a
you're
good chance
rebuilding, it's
you do
Caleb
get
and
smoked.
Broc all day.
Yeah.
If you're contending, then I want something better than Charbonnet in there. Like I think that would be Kamara.
Or I want someone better than Tootin. Like if Tootin was like Kamara or Ridley or someone just more Judy, someone just more intriguing, I think it makes it a lot better personally for me. But yeah,
for sure.
All right, we'll hit this one and then hit the next super chat that just came in. So trade 12 coming from Donnie J05 on Twitter. We got one side with you gotta be giving me first names here. I'm gonna assume
Jamar Chase, Purdy, and Worthy, and then Baker, BTJ, and Puka. This one's one of those fun 3 for 3s, right? Both sides have a quarterback and both sides have 2 wide receivers. You look at the quarterbacks and the value's not that much different between Baker and Purdy. So it's Chase and Worthy or BTJ and Puka. Snoog, what do you like?
I feel like it's gotta be Chase. I don't know, dude.
But it's weird, right?
The gap between BTJ and Puka versus Worthy is like, I feel like it's bigger than the Chase gap with those two.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with BTJ and Puka here. I think BTJ and Puka are just such good foundational assets, and Baker I view as a little bit of an upgrade over Purdy, just production wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I would like Worthy to be like one of the rookies, like a Golden or a Burden instead. Like if it was someone a little bit more unknown, but like, I don't know. I love getting BTJ and Puka. Those are 2 guys on our show, Dad. We talked about as wide receiver 1 overall contenders. Like they're in that, mix. They're going to have the QB play, the target opportunity, the coaching staff, the talent. So I want those 2.
I'm with you. I think we can go back and forth on that one quite a bit because it's a very interesting one. Oh, Doof, he's coming in.
Doof coming back with another super chat. Appreciate it here, Doof. He said, rank them.
Fun one.
Flacco, Daniel Jones, Russell Wilson.
Oh my gosh.
Any of them you'd grab as your QB3, assuming one of these guys is just vibing on waivers. Got the Browns quarterback one, the Colts quarterback one, or the Giants quarterback one. Not teams you really want the quarterbacks of, but Dad, QB3 just to pick someone up. Who would you prefer here?
Danny Dimes. If it's Dynasty, it's Dimes, and it's not even close, right? Because he's the only guy who has a chance in hell to be a starter next year. Like Russ, he's gone as soon as they're both these teams. Like who do you if you go to the next one? Dart will start by week 5 or 6, and the Browns, you're going to have a starter at somewhere else. So if it's redraft, think I want Flacco because let's be honest, by the time you start him, by the time you have to start these guys, Russ is going to be on the bench. So it's like, I think Dimes will be on the bench too. So I think Flacco could last the longest for redraft. Dynasty, it's Dimes. Snoogs, Eddie, this is gross.
Flacco for the vibes. Danny Jones probably for the production. Dart's going to be the starter by week 6.
Dude, and if Flacco grows that mustache he had with the Ravens, the little handlebar, then you get a little bit. You get points for that too.
All right, trade 13 here coming from Anonymous over on YouTube. We got one side with Quinshon Judkins, other side James Cook Snoog. Straight up, you said you're in on James Cook. You taking him over your boy Quinshon, or are you going to hold him?
So in Dynasty, I think I have Judkins at 11 or 12, and I think I have Cook at like 15, 16 right now. For this year, I want Cook. Long-term rebuild, I want Judkins. If I could get a 2-3 swap in favor of James Cook, I'd probably lean that slightly, but I think Judkins is like 4 or 5 years younger. So I always like, if they're pretty close for me, I always like getting a lot younger at running back in Dynasty just because of the way the market works with people. Like, that's why I'm like lower on Harvey than everybody. It's not even like a talent thing with me with Harvey. Like I like the film. I like the prospect. I like the idea of him. I just think like what Harvey has 2 really good years and then he's 27 years old. What is everyone in the Dynasty market going to do? They're going to try to sell him. And then we're going to buy him for seconds. So that's kind of where I'm at with him. So I feel like James Cook, like I think we missed like the window on buying him like crazy. Like we should have been buying him when he was worth a second. And now like he's probably maxed out at a first, but like Judkins, on the other hand, if he has a really good year, he's going to get a ton of value because he's so young.
I have James Cook as my RB12 and Judkins as my RB19. So and they're going in opposite directions for me because James Cook, he just got paid. Like, he got paid by the Bills. He's going to be their starter for the next 2 to 3 years. That means something, keeping him below guys like Kenneth Walker and RJ Harvey or Christian McCaffrey doesn't make a lot of sense to me in Dynasty because we want to chase the points. I understand that a lot of people are going to give you the touchdown regression, and I think that's clearly going to happen, but I think it's somewhere in the middle. Just because he had 4 touchdowns going into last year and then 18 last year doesn't mean he goes back to 4. Like, there's a real good chance he puts up 10, and that's the offense that I want to be invested in, is with a contract, with an elite quarterback in an elite offense. I'm on that side, but I think if you wait, now's not the time to sell Quinshon Judkins. Like, if you sell Quinshon Judkins now, you're just getting pennies on the dollar, and like investment you just bought yesterday in your rookie draft. Now you're selling it.
Yeah. Trade 14 here coming from Dalton B 317, submitted in Discord. We got one side with Pickens and 2 late 26 firsts, or Ashton Genty. Dad, what do we think?
Genty's worth three firsts still. So if I can let people look at the fact that he had like 12 carries for 31 yards and be like, oh, he's not a generational talent, then yeah, I'll throw on a pair of late firsts on top of Pickens to get to Genty. Because as much as I love Pickens, he still has some risk as well. But Genty is something that you're going to be able to sell for top dollar no matter what.
Yeah, I think I'm on the Genty side as well. I think if it was 227s, it'd be closer for me, because I do think Pickens is worth a first, and he's going to blow up this year. Yep. It'd have to be 227s for me to do it, or at least a 26 and 27. But it's hard to trade Genty for this, but I think it would also be hard to give this up for Genty, especially if it's like 227s. But I think it's fair, but I think I'd just rather hold on to Genty in this situation.
A running back worth the same value area as George Pickens. If that's Christian McCaffrey, though, I might do it. Like, McCaffrey's going to – if it's somebody that's, like, worth that same value that's going to win you your league, and then you get those 2 firsts, it's kind of worth it.
All right, trade 15 here coming from Doug Pretty Boy Smith over on Twitter. Like the nickname there, Doug. We got one side with a BTJ and a Charbonnet and a 26 first, second, third, and 27 first and second for Josh Allen and Devontae Adams. Dad, lots to unpack here. 2 first, 2 second, and third, BTJ and Sharps for Josh Allen and Devontae Adams. Break this one down. How we canceling things out?
So it's super flex. So, I mean, Josh Allen's worth 4 to 4.5 firsts is where you got to look at it first. No one's worth 5, but him, Jaden Daniels, Josh, and Lamar Jackson are worth at least 4 to 4.5. I look at Devontae Adams, and I'm going to cancel out Devontae Adams on the right side, and I'm going to cancel out Charbonnet in a second, whatever you want. So now we get this back to BTJ and a 26 first and a 27 first and a third. Who cares about the third? I don't think it's worth it. I don't think you're going to get a quarterback that's going to put up that kind of those kind of numbers for you. If these are late picks, assuming, because if you're trading for Josh Allen, even if it wasn't late, it is now. Like when you give up, yeah, exactly. When you give up a Josh Allen and Devontae Adams, those picks all got better. So I have a real hard time giving up Josh Allen here.
Yeah, I'm on the same fence with you here, but the way I'm looking at it is BTJ, the 26 first and 27 first equals Allen to me. BTJ worth 2 firsts, maybe in a small piece, 2 more firsts on top. I feel like Charbonnet in 2 seconds for Devontae Adams, I'd take the Charbonnet side. So I'm going to go with the BTJ side here. If I'm rebuilding, especially, I think that's a great haul to get. If Walker goes down, I know I'm going to get a first or 2 seconds plus for Charbonnet. So I think you can get a good return on this. I would love if it was 227 first. I think that would make this trade a lot better. But value-wise, I think it's there. I also don't fault you for not wanting to trade Allen. I feel like he's untradeable if you own him in Dynasty, but that's a good return value-wise, in my opinion.
And it's interesting because I'm finding a very hard time trading Josh Allen because the tier 2 kind of disappeared, and like there is 7 guys in like tier 3, but like you have the tier right below the big 3 is just Hurts and Burrow. That's it.
Yeah.
So like you're not going to get anybody giving you a first in between there. So then you tier down to Caleb, Herbert, May, like those guys. but those guys are valued too high to get you like 2 firsts. So like most of the time I find people want to give you May a first and a second for Josh Allen, and I just ride him out.
Yeah, it's not enough. All right, trade 16 here coming from Yoho6 over on Discord. We got one side with Achan and Jalen Wright, other side Kyron and a late 27-1 dad. What do we think on this one?
We have not been doing these, but this is Kyron Williams.
Yeah,
Kyron Williams also just got paid. I don't care. You're getting the
all
production and you're getting that. Go ahead and get Kyron.
All right, before we jump into this next one, we are at 13 super chats. If we get 2 more here, we got a couple trades left to go over. We're going to be giving away a second VIP month to the Patreon there, along with the VIP and the basic month that we're going to be spinning the wheel for tonight. Snoog's got that all prepared there on his side. So trade 17 coming from JHall81 over on Discord. We got one side, Amon-Ra. Other side, pair of rooks here, Dad. 2 guys you're really high on, RJ Harvey and Tet McMillan. What are you doing here?
The gap between Amon-Ra and Tet is closing. Like it was 2 firsts, then it was, an early first. I think it's now closer to a mid first, like the gap between those guys. In this particular trade, told him to get another second yet. If you get another second, I'm down. But I think I'm really starting to lean towards the Teteroy and Harvey side. I think it needs a second round pick yet, but it's really close.
Yeah, I'm going with Amon-Ra here. I just think Amon-Ra is a foundational asset. I think he's a little bit undervalued right now with Ben Johnson leaving. Everyone thinks Jamison Williams is going to take his role now. So I still think it's time. For a while, I was like, not super bullish on Amon-Ra. I think he was overvalued, but right now I think is a good time to kind of get him and taking Tet, who's definitely a tier below and a 25-year-old rookie running back, to get Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going to do it.
I like it.
All right, next one coming in from Chuck Delight, submitted over on Discord. We got one side with T-Law, Bill, Trey Harris, and Jawan Jennings. Other side with Cam Ward, Amari Cooper, 27 first and a 28 second. Snoog.
I think this is on this one? Cam Ward cowbell, Dad. What do you think?
It is. We've never had a Cam Ward cowbell. I mean, Cam Ward.
I like that.
Cam Ward in a second is Lawrence and maybe Jawan Jennings. But, I mean, even if it is just for Lawrence, Bill, Harris, and Jawan Jennings, it's that thing where 3 random players worth a second is not worth a first. Like, a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, well, 2 seconds should equal a first. No, that's just not how it is.
Yeah. All right. Trade 19 here coming from Caleb over on the Discord. We got one side with Josh Jacobs and JSN. Other side, Terry, Jonathan Taylor, and 3 thirds. What do we think here, Dad?
Jacobs, JSN. I think the perception of how much more Jonathan Taylor's worth than Josh Jacobs is too high, but JSN's the best piece in this particular trade. You're getting so much younger than you are with Terry. I think you got Terry just signed his contract. Good for him. I think it's time to move him.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree there. 100%, Dad. Great analysis there. He's going to be 30, and he got that big $96 million contract. Great player. Love Terry.
3 more years on top of next year. So it's like the next
locked,
4 years.
He's locked up for damn near life. But Jacobs probably outscores JT this year and JSN very comfortably over Terry. So
yeah, I love it. Let's get that board up here right now. Grant F's asking a question here, Brock. Lads, love the show. Love to know your thoughts on Genty for Henderson and Pearsall. Is that enough?
That is not enough, unfortunately,
it's a first
Grant.
for me.
Missing a first. Board's up, ready to go.
Oh, wow. That was quick. My man just cranking
lightning
it up
fast.
There. All right. Here we go. First one. Let's give away our basic. Again, if you are in the VIP, you may gift it, but it is not a, retroactive thing. So here we go. Hey, there we go. Jeremiah Dibble, new to the show.
New person.
Awesome. I love that. He was get Nico in London and then join the Discord and let's win it.
Next one here. Give us another newbie. Nice. These are all newbies.
It is. There we go. And since we didn't do one last week, let's get a third spin in there. Let's get
this one's spinning. since these
Dad's
guys are
feeling
new,
nice. Dad's feeling
how
nice.
can they claim their prize, Dad?
Anthony.
Anthony's new as well. Reach out on Twitter. I'm at Dynasty Dad FF. He's at FF Snoog. If you are not in there, we're going the triple stack, yo. What's up? So if you guys are not on there on YouTube, just make a comment and I will send you an email and then we can kind of get it going from there. So guys, episode 400 is coming up next week. The season rolls around next week. A lot of big things coming around. So make sure you guys tune in. And thanks again for tuning in and enjoy the process. There's too many tunes in one.